August 5, 1962, 3 a.m. A housekeeper makes a panicked phone call. The most famous woman in the world is dead at 36 years old. The official story, suicide, an overdose of sleeping pills. Case closed. But for decades, one woman stayed silent. Eunice Murray, Marilyn's housekeeper, was there that night. She was the first to know something was terribly wrong, and for over 20 years she told the same story to police, to reporters, to anyone who asked. Then, in 1985, a camera crew knocked on her door. They asked one simple question: was Robert Kennedy at Marilyn's house the day she died? And everything changed. Oh, sure, yes. And it became so sticky that the protectors of Robert Kennedy, had to step in there and protect him. This is the untold story of Marilyn Monroe's final 24 hours, the missing diary, the Attorney General who visited her hours before she died, and the cover-up that reached the highest levels of American government. By 1962, Marilyn Monroe had become more than an actress. She was a global icon, the blonde bombshell who could make the world stop with a whisper of "Happy birthday, Mr. President." That performance on May 19, 1962, would be her last major public appearance. 10 weeks later, she'd be dead. But that night at Madison Square Garden wasn't just a performance. It was a public display of something Hollywood insiders had whispered about for months: Marilyn Monroe and the Kennedy brothers. The affair with President John F. Kennedy had cooled by early 1962. John F. Kennedy, worried about scandal, had his brother-in-law, actor Peter Lawford, distance Marilyn from the president. But there was another Kennedy brother, one who shared Marilyn's passion for social justice, one who, according to those close to Marilyn, had fallen deeply in love with her. Robert F. Kennedy, the Attorney General of the United States. Bobby Kennedy was 43 years old, married with 7 children, and the second most powerful man in America. He was investigating organized crime, battling union boss Jimmy Hoffa, and crushing the mafia's grip on American cities. Marilyn's psychiatrist's wife and daughter later recalled Marilyn gossiping about a new man in her life. She called him the General. It was Robert Kennedy. According to Marilyn's close friend, actress Jean Carmen, Marilyn kept detailed notes of her conversations with both Kennedy brothers in a small red notebook. She called it her diary of secrets. In that diary, Marilyn recorded everything, intimate details of her relationships, but also something far more dangerous: classified government secrets, plans to assassinate Cuban leader Fidel Castro, discussions about Vietnam, nuclear strategy with the Soviet Union. The Kennedys had told her too much, and Marilyn had written it all down. Saturday, August 4, 1962. Marilyn's modest Spanish colonial home in Brentwood, Los Angeles. She woke up in good spirits that morning. She had plans. She was going to see Bobby Kennedy. 9:30 a.m., Hollywood columnist Sidney Skolsky. She tells him she plans to see Bobby Kennedy later that day. 10 a.m., Playboy photographer Larry Schiller stops by to discuss a photo shoot. He finds Marilyn in her garden, picking flowers. She seems happy, contemplative, but something is about to go very wrong. Around 11 a.m., a helicopter touches down at 20th Century Fox Studios. Studio publicist Frank Neal is working that day when he sees something shocking. Attorney General Robert F. Kennedy emerges from the helicopter and disappears into a waiting limousine. Peter Lawford is with him. This sighting was later confirmed by former LAPD police chief Daryl Gates, who provided security for the LAPD leadership in the early 60s. Chief Daryl Gates' actual quote, "The truth is, we knew Robert Kennedy was in town on August 4, 1962. But why was the Attorney General in Los Angeles And why didn't he tell anyone? Afternoon, multiple witnesses placed Robert Kennedy at Marilyn's home. Norman Jeffries, a handyman working at the property, was loading tools into his truck when Eunice Murray came outside. She told him that Marilyn had just fired her. But then, something strange happened. Kennedy arrived, and Murray was told to leave the house. Marilyn's neighbor, Elizabeth Pollard, was playing bridge with friends that evening when she looked out the window. She saw Bobby Kennedy walking toward Marilyn's front door. Two men she didn't recognize were with him. According to Murray's later testimony, Kennedy and Marilyn had a terrible fight that afternoon. Friends say Marilyn had been telling people she was very much in love and was going to marry Bobby Kennedy, but Kennedy hadn't come to propose. He'd come to end it. The relationship was over. The Kennedys couldn't afford the scandal. And there was one more thing. Kennedy wanted the diary. Marilyn refused to give it up. Between 7 and 8 p.m., Marilyn made a series of phone calls. She called Peter Lawford, Kennedy's brother-in-law. Her voice sounded strange, slurred. Lawford would later say she ended their conversation with chilling words. Say goodbye to Pat, say goodbye to the president, and say goodbye to yourself because you're a nice guy. Those would be the last words Peter Lawford ever heard Marilyn Monroe speak. What happened next depends on who's telling the story. The official version, Eunice Murray woke up around midnight and noticed a light on under Marilyn's bedroom door. The door was locked. Murray called Marilyn's psychiatrist, Dr. Ralph Greenson. When he arrived, he broke a window, climbed inside, and found Marilyn dead, lying face down on her bed, nude, with an empty bottle of sleeping pills nearby. But that's not what really happened. In 1985, investigative journalist Anthony Summers interviewed several members of the ambulance team that responded that night. They told a different story. Marilyn had been taken to the hospital by ambulance, still alive. She died en route. The coroner's report found enough barbiturates in Marilyn's system to kill 3 people. But there was something strange. Her stomach was completely empty. No undigested pills, no residue. Nothing. For an oral overdose, that's medically impossible. The pills would have left traces, which means Marilyn Monroe didn't swallow those drugs. They were administered another way, an injection, or, according to some investigators, a barbiturate enema, a method that would leave no trace in the stomach. But who would do such a thing, and why? 3 days before Marilyn's death, on August 3, 1962, a CIA memo was written. It referenced wiretaps of Marilyn's phone calls. The memo noted that she had referenced her diary of secrets and threatened to hold a press conference. The CIA and FBI had been monitoring Marilyn for months. J. Edgar Hoover, the FBI director, hated the Kennedys. The mafia wanted revenge on Bobby Kennedy for targeting organized crime, and Marilyn Monroe, caught in the middle, had become a liability to everyone. Chicago mob boss Sam Giancana had connections to both the CIA and to Marilyn. Some investigators believe he sent enforcers to Los Angeles that night. Their mission? Silence Marilyn and retrieve the diary. Norman Jeffries, the handyman, said he saw Robert Kennedy return to Marilyn's home between 9:30 and 10 p.m. Kennedy was accompanied by 2 unidentified men. They ordered Jeffries and Murray to leave the house immediately. What happened inside that house in the hours that followed remains one of Hollywood's darkest mysteries. When Marilyn's body arrived at the Los Angeles County Coroner's Office, something strange happened. A coroner's aide named Lionel Grandison was on duty that night. Years later, he would make a shocking claim. Grandison said he saw Marilyn's red diary among her belongings. It was logged into evidence. But by the following morning, the diary had vanished. It was struck from the inventory as if it had never existed. Grandison also claimed he was coerced into signing Marilyn's death certificate, which ruled her death a probable suicide. He said he felt pressured by higher authorities who wanted the case closed quickly. But the diary wasn't the only thing that disappeared. Tissue samples from Marilyn's autopsy also vanished. Her organs, which could have definitively shown how the drugs entered her body, were missing from the coroner's office. The FBI opened a file on Marilyn's death, but classified most of it. When those files were partially released in 2017, 300 pages were still kept secret for national security reasons. Robert Kennedy flew back to Northern California that same night, departing Los Angeles around 2 or 3 a.m. in a helicopter. He was confirmed to be with his family by the next morning, establishing his alibi. The official investigation was brief. No murder charges were filed. The case was closed, and the most famous woman in the world was buried as a suicide. For 23 years, Eunice Murray stuck to the official story. But in 1985, everything changed. During a BBC documentary interview, Murray was asked directly about Robert Kennedy's presence at Marilyn's home. "Oh, sure. Yes, I was in the living room when he arrived. She was not dressed." The interviewer was stunned. Murray continued like this: "Why, at my age, do I still have to cover up this thing? I was not supposed to know that the Kennedys were a very important part of Marilyn's life, but over a period of time, I was a witness to what was happening." Murray's confession opened the floodgates. Former LAPD officers confirmed Kennedy was in Los Angeles. Ambulance drivers came forward. Neighbors corroborated the timeline. In 1982, the Los Angeles County District Attorney reviewed the case. Their report acknowledged factual discrepancies and unanswered questions, but they found no evidence to overturn the suicide ruling. Former LAPD detective Mike Rothmiller, who had access to secret police files, later wrote a book claiming Robert Kennedy was directly responsible for Marilyn's death. His evidence, he said, would secure a conviction in any court of law. But no charges were ever filed, no trial ever held, and the diary, the book of secrets that could have exposed the truth, has never been found. Was Marilyn Monroe murdered, or did she take her own life, broken by Hollywood, addiction, and heartbreak? The truth may be buried forever, but one thing is certain. On August 4, 1962, the most powerful man in America had a problem. Marilyn Monroe knew too much, and by the next morning, she was gone. The vault is open. The secrets are out. Subscribe for more untold stories from Hollywood's golden era. Next time, we uncover the curse of James Dean's Porsche and why everyone who touched it met a tragic fate.